I'm listening to you, Mountain! Don't eat the yellow sand, Patrick!
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Hey, Sandy! Watch me do the grouchy Squidward!
Stop naming moves after me.
Everybody's an idiot except for me!
Well, it's true.
SpongeBob! Look out for that train!
Don't worry, guys. Everything's under control, cause I'm in that's funny. Someone turned the mountain upside down.
SpongeBob! Land on your bottom! It'll cushion the impact of the fall!
Like this?
No, your other bottom.
Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else?
Not until 4.
As we all know, SpongeBob is square, and a sponge, so you can imagine what I must have been feeling when I saw this abomination. It really destroys all logic moving forward and is clearly not something that can be done. The principle of conservation of mass states that mass cannot be created or destroyed within a closed system. Similarly, the volume of an object cannot be changed without either compressing or expanding it within the physical limits. When SpongeBob transforms into Squidward, there is no indication of where the extra mass for Squidward's larger body comes from. SpongeBob's transformation does not appear to follow any principles of mass conservation, as his body expands and reshapes without a corresponding source of additional material. Trees need oxygen. Do I need to say anything else? Yes? Oh, okay. A tree can't survive with an oxygen tank, as trees don't have mouths, you see. They also can't survive that deep in water. Yes, trees do sometimes grow out of the water, but not at the bottom of the sea. This isn't physics though, so I won't go into detail. However, just know that it bothered me. When one turns while skiing, typically they slow down from the sudden turn. This is an effective way to stop while skiing. SpongeBob here doesn't slow down at all in this scene. He somehow keeps his momentum throughout the whole scene. He's also going very fast, and with those sudden turns would throw SpongeBob off of his shell. According to Newton's first law of motion, an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an external force. When SpongeBob is sandboarding at high speed, his body has significant momentum in the direction of his movement. Changing direction quickly requires applying a force in the new direction. SpongeBob manages to change direction almost instantaneously without any visible application of force. In reality, making such a rapid turn would require a strong force, which typically results in a loss of balance or speed, especially on skis or a similar apparatus. The interaction between the skis and the sand involves friction. To turn quickly, SpongeBob would need to exert a force against the sand, which would involve digging the edges of the skis into the surface. This action generally causes a loss of speed and can destabilize the skier, often resulting in a fall. SpongeBob changes direction smoothly without any apparent struggle or reduction in speed. The show ignores the frictional forces that would normally cause resistance and any potential loss of balance. When making a sharp turn, a skier must exert centripetal force to change direction. This force is typically provided by leaning into the turn and using the edges of the skis to carve through the surface. Failing to manage this correctly can cause a skier to skid out or fall. SpongeBob appears to change direction effortlessly without leaning or adjusting his posture significantly. In real-life skiing or sandboarding, such a maneuver without proper technique would likely result in a fall. Where do I start? He's floating in the water upside down. The mountain is right next to him and somehow has enough time to say a full sentence about why he's upside down. He then starts falling somehow after like 5 seconds, when he should already be at the ground by that point. Gravity, believe it or not, is a fundamental force that pulls objects toward the center of the earth. For SpongeBob to float upside down next to a mountain, he would need to counteract the force of gravity. This typically requires some form of support or propulsion. In the scene, SpongeBob appears to float effortlessly, maintaining his position upside down next to the mountain without any visible means of support or propulsion. This defies the gravitational pull that would normally cause them to fall to the ground. Buoyancy is the force that allows objects to float in a fluid, such as water or air, and it depends on the density of the object relative to the fluid. In air, buoyancy is typically achieved with the use of lighter than air gases, such as helium, or aerodynamic lift, such as aircraft. SpongeBob does not appear to use any buoyant materials or aerodynamic principles to maintain his position. There is no indication of a physical mechanism that would allow him to float in place, especially upside down. Sea sponges typically float when they're dry, but they sink when they're wet, and as SpongeBob lives underwater, we can imagine that he is wet. SpongeBob manages to just rotate while falling, and then continues falling in exactly the same direction. This is not possible, although I'm not sure we've learnt why not, but it's very obvious that this is false. So there you go.